Robots Radio presents
Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast.
I'm not usually a hat fan, but wow.
Jeg vil ikke være en dagger.
I'm really sipping on that dumb bitch juice today, and
Yeah, I am. But you know what? Someday I just might grow out of that. But you will never stop being a jerk.
All chocolate cakes are good. You're a fascist.
it's hideous.
It's horrible.
It's home. Angry white boy, let's go!
Hello, and welcome to Fresh Tomatoes, the movie podcast. The podcast that says, fuck all the rules of evolution. When kids come to it, all we want is explosions. That's Simone LaRue.
That's Chad Akowitz with some excellent child rearing advice.
Look, I'm going to raise my kids on the belief that science doesn't matter, and all that matters is explosions.
One could argue that explosions and science go hand in hand, but
Ooh.
one could also not argue that, and it seems like you're choosing the latter.
I am very much of the school of belief that just bury your head in the sand, and that violence should trump, using that word trump very, very aptly here, any kind of rationale or reasoning.
I think that's valid. I think that's a fair philosophy.
Exactly. I want my kids to be sort of insurrectionists, if they could even spell that word.
Luckily, you don't have to be able to spell it to do it.
That is true. That is very true.
Clearly.
But this horrible political talk couldn't be further away from the movies that we're doing this week. Which is, we've done a return to our childhoods, and we are going to be doing the Pokemon first movie and Digimon the first movie, so 1998 and 2000 respectively.
Yeah.
And so, Simone, I have two questions for you based on these two movies. So the first question is, what is your favorite Pokemon of any generation? And then the second question I have for you is, can you name a single Digimon? If you can name a single Digimon, I will give you £1 million over the next 1 million years.
Oh, easy. Armadillomon. Hawkmon.
The laziest names. Okay, I will concede on the fact that Pokemon was known better, but that just feels exceedingly lazy.
The best thing about Digimon too is that, like I just demonstrated, they clearly started running out of ideas very quickly.
It's just the fact that you've got Hawkmon and Armadillomon, but then you've got Gaboramon and Mega Ultra Gaflingaflongamon, and the names get really ridiculous, and it's sort of where's the balance, guys? Where's the common ground? Where's
This
the
is
consistency?
for children, and they can't pronounce it.
So I'm proud of you. Well done for exposing me with Armadillomon. And so then back to the previous question. What is your favorite Pokemon?
I think I'm an Eevee gal. I really like Eevee.
Ah,
They're real cute.
nice.
They can evolve lots of many ways, and I like them. Although this movie, every now and again, I'm like, what's fun is Meowth.
Yeah. But that specific Meowth who can talk.
No, all
who's,
of them. They're just
really...
also sassy and weird. I love them.
Yeah, but you're a cat person, so I'm not surprised by this. And I mean,
love sassy
Eevee is the
and weird
closest.
pets.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it does. I think Eevee would be the perfect Pokemon for you. I think you would definitely be an Eevee trainer. That's for sure.
Thank
you. I think it's a compliment. It's the fact that you like to start from a really sort of good base and then just branch out into the multiple. I mean, it kind of explains you as a person as well. I
don't know how many of these are backhanded compliments.
No, genuine forehanded compliments.
Okay.
Because you for example, you were this person who just came to university, you studied neuroscience, and then you did business, and now you're doing media. So very much like Eevee, I
have evolved in many
branched
ways.
out. Yeah, exactly, which is really, really cool.
That's really nice of you to say. What's your favorite Pokemon?
Oh, Raichu through and through. That little fat
really?
mouse. with the electric, wiry tail. What a legend. He's the
Cute.
best. Yeah, he's the cutest Pokemon. I love it. I love him more than Pikachu because I think
Wow.
just Pikachu is just way too mainstream. So it's gotta be Raichu.
You need to be like a little cool.
Yeah, exactly. Plus, like in the original series, the electric gym leader had a Raichu and it had an earring. And if there is anything more bisexual than a Pokemon with an earring, I don't
Which
know
ear
what
was
it
pierced?
is. the gay one, I'm assuming.
I don't know if that's a thing anymore. I feel like that's a very like Gen X late millennial thing, is like the ear piercing symbolism. Now people, I guess, don't have to hide it as much.
Yeah. Plus, like, I don't believe I can't see that ever being an actual thing. Like, I think it was just a joke among heteronormative societies. I don't think the gay community was ever like, okay, the left ear is the gay ear.
Make sure you get your left ear pierced so everyone knows you're gay in the 80s.
Yeah, that's outrageous. So if we do have any gay listeners who were around in the 80s, please do let us know if it was just an absolute fallacy from, our heteronormative brethren.
Would David be really mad if we texted him? Hey David, you were gay in the 90s.
I think he would be furious because, again, we would just be like coming to him with an old person query. He would be absolutely just unbelievably mad at us. Oh, goodness me. Well, thank you so much for that. So let's see who is going to go first. What are you drinking today?
I am drinking a red wine. It's Wednesday
lovely.
that we're recording this on, and I feel I need this.
Oh,
middle of the work week is always intense, I think.
Yeah, you're right in the throes of it. I mean, for those of you who aren't watching these videos on YouTube, this is the one for you. As you South African listeners will know of the joys of load shedding, Simone is absolutely shrouded in darkness and just lit by her cell phone. And she's drinking red wine in the dark midweek, which I think is just the most perfect image for what we're going through right now.
And all Chad is doing is waiting on tenterhooks for a pair of demonic hands to come up behind me and like clap or something.
I'm so sure that Rudy is just waiting in the background there, waiting for his time to shine and really just completely freak me out.
He's a very supportive boyfriend, but I don't think he's really even listening in. I think he's got his earphones in.
Right.
So
or
he can't hear any of the hints that I'm throwing to him.
You know what? I expect better of him. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't be surprised if, mid-recording, the power comes back on and there's just shapes behind you. Like,
wouldn't that be fun?
No, Simone, it wouldn't. Like, how are you not understanding this? All of this is not fun for me. This is terrifying. This is the most anxious I've ever been on this podcast.
Well, what are you drinking to get you through the pain?
Oh, I am drinking a spiced rum.
Ooh.
Captain Morgan and his spiced rum. Yes. My girlfriend and I decided to have like a little bit of a drinking weekend on Friday. So we had she brought a bottle of spiced rum and Diet Coke, and I had my honey jack, and we just had went back to our early 20s and just drank.
Boozy weekend.
So this is the residual after effects. So I'm happy to have that, and I'm even happier to get Digimon out the way.
Yeah, let's do it, because let's get through it quickly, because we couldn't get through the movie quickly. So
no, well, both of them, because I mean, this movie was essentially two separate movies, right? Like, insanity.
The emotions that I felt thinking I was done, being like, okay, that was a very mediocre movie, but I'm out of the woods now. And then they started a second one.
It was outrageous. It was
audacity.
really outrageous. I remember being a lot more intense when I was a kid, but we'll get into it. Into it. Okay, so I'm just gonna run off the characters quickly because this sort of jumps through time. So we're gonna just run through this. So you have Carrie, you have Laura, Carrie, who is voiced by Jill Miller in the American English version of this. Then you've got Ty, who is voiced by Joshua Seth. You've got Miko, who is voiced by Michael Sorich. You got loads of people. Truck driver Mimi, voiced by Felice Sampler. Izzy, voiced by Mona Marshall. Joe, voiced by Mark Lindsay. And Matt, voiced by Michael Rise. So these are all the Digi-Destined. These are a bunch of kids who were sort of thrown into the digital world where they met Digimon. They are these dinosaur sort of weird creatures, very similar to Pokemon, live in the Digi world. Ooh, what's going on?
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. If you dropped me or if I dropped you.
Oh no. I think you dropped out, but you're back now, so it's fine.
Okay, cool. We'll just carry on your synopsis.
So the main ones for exactly. I'll stitch it together. Right. So basically, Carrie and Ty are brother and sister, and the only other really important ones for the story are TK and Matt. And Izzy, who all are part of the Digi-Destined crew. The other Digi-Destined members aren't really part of this movie for some reason. Who knows why? So it's years later, everyone's hanging out with their Digimon, everything's really happy, when suddenly Izzy realizes that there is a virus going through the internet. This virus sort of looks like a Digi-Egg. After very little time, the Digi-Egg hatches and they realize that the virus slash Digimon is sort of eating through the web. It's just going from place to place, just chowing down code and just digivolving every couple of minutes. They're all kind of freaking out because Izzy realizes that they're just going to eat this Digimon, this Digivirus is just going to eat the entire of the internet and just cause endless havoc. We will basically be without the internet pretty soon. So Izzy and Ty send in their Digimon to go and face this Digivirus. Their Digimon are called... I have no idea.
I don't think you have to go through this full cast assortment.
Thank you.
I think we can
Thank you so much.
We can all look up the IMDb page if we're interested.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. So basically, they go and fight the Digimon. They lose. That's when the Digivirus sort of adapts again. He grows bigger. He becomes a more sort of intense Digimon. They don't know what to do. Eventually, they realize that in order to sort of stop this Digimon, they are going to use the power of the emails that they're getting from all the other kids all around the world who are supporting them in their fight against this Digivirus. So so Izzy is able to tunnel the emails and the information from the emails into the Digimon to make them stronger. They're almost about to defeat this Digivirus when the Digivirus sort of evolves again and becomes faster. That's when Izzy has the other idea to use the emails, those same emails that were powering their Digimon, to slow down the bad Digimon, because sort of that sheer amount of of emails will slow him down. They're able to do that. They destroy the Digimon. Everything looks really happy. Everyone's sorted. While this is all going down, of course, Izzy, who actually lives in Colorado,
Willis.
Was like, oh, sorry, Willis, who lives in Colorado, sends Izzy an email being like, oh, this is all my fault, but it's all very vague and whatever. He's also got two Digimon. He was able to get twins when he got his Digi-Egg, which is pretty cool for him. Kokomon and some other Digimon, which I can't remember its name. So that's the end of the first bit of the movie. You think it's the end. They've killed the bad guy, but oh no. Not that time, my friends. Time skip. It is now present day, and Ty's moved on. The original Digi-Destined have moved on, and now you've got the new guys coming in. Also, sort of TK and Carrie are now in sort of the team leaders of the new Digi-Destined, and everything seems to be going pretty well. That is until they go and they visit, what did you say? Willis in Colorado. They realize that Willis is being sort of followed and haunted by an evil Digimon who is just like kicking ass and just destroying New York. The evil Digimon keeps telling Willis to go back to the beginning, or just go back. Willis doesn't know what this exactly means, but he thinks that he means that he needs to go back to his hometown of Colorado, where it all began. So Willis teams up with all the Digidestined. They head off to Colorado, and that's when they have another massive fight with this evil Kokomon. That's when they realize that what actually happened was, before, like when the old evil Digimon was around, it was actually caused by Willis. So Willis got his 2 Digimon when he got his Digi-Eggs. He was like, oh, these guys are really awesome. I actually want more of these. So he tried to make a Digimon on the computer, but unfortunately, while that Digimon was cooking, it got infected by a virus on the interwebs, and that virus created that evil Digimon, and it also sort of corrupted Kokomon, and that's what's happened. So the Digidestined basically fight Kokomon, evil Kokomon, and destroy him, kill him completely. The fight was too much for Kokomon, and he dies. That's when we learn at the end of the movie that Digimon don't actually die. All their data is sort of just recycled and created again, and that's when we learn that Willis actually gets Kokomon back. He's a little bit different this time. He looks like the evil Kokomon, but he's actually a really nice guy.
Dancing to Smash Mouth All-Star.
Simone, the songs in this film make me so happy. So happy. I love them more than anything.
They spent most of their budget on like licensing.
Definitely, without question. And sort of getting the Bare Naked Ladies to do a Digimon song.
Have you not had the Digimon theme song stuck in your head for a solid week?
Simone, I woke up with it in my head today.
Digimon,
it was
Digimon,
champions. It is the most frustrating fucking intro song in the world, because it's literally like 4 beats and it just repeats. Oh my gosh. And every time they digivolve, it just repeats again. And it's like, for fuck's sakes, can you stop? Can you stop?
Can I tell you my favorite moment in the whole movie?
Yes, please.
When one of the Digimon digivolves, and he digivolves into Storm of Friendship.
yes, that was Hawkmon. Hawkmon changes into to another Digimon, and it's the Hawk, the sort of friendship. That's lovely. That's a great image. Honestly, I remember from being like a kid, and like the Digimon universe made complete sense to me.
Yeah.
I could just like map it out, whatever. Like it was gold. Looking back at it now, it is more complicated than anything I've ever played in my life. Like, so it seems like the original Digimon just like digivolved, and that was fine. And then it was like your rookies, then your champions, then your mega super champions, then like the ethereal god level.
Yeah.
Then it looks like from the second generation, there was like shield evolutions, or digilutions. Yeah. And then it was like standard ones, and then like mega ones, and then you had like another talisman that you used in conjunction.
Didn't Pokemon's evolutions change too? Like it was like air, plant, water, fire, and then it was like psychic, fighter type, dark.
Well, they were all the original. Like those, all those were original. Like they've only made one new type in like the longest time, which was fairy. They've like which there's an evolution which turns into a fairy, but like Pokemon, it's very cute.
Very cute.
But you're absolutely right. They did sort of like change up the evolution scheme, because you can mega evolve Pokemon now, which become like these massive, really ridiculous things. But it's still not as complicated as Digimon. Like Digimon are just ridiculous.
And then there's also that jump in the movie. Like I think also though, much like the Pokemon movie, it helps to have watched the show before you watch the movie. It helps to have like a base knowledge, which I did not have going in. So to my untrained eye, it starts off, you're like, oh, okay, so the Digimon are actually just like digital mainly, and they're just basically a bunch of cool computer kids, and And then halfway through the movie, after the time jump, inexplicably, suddenly Digimon are just in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. Like the rules make no sense. I mean, there's that one point where Kai literally just like jumps through his TV, his computer, which like to just go and like hold his dying Digimon.
Oh my god, there are so many pivotal moments in this movie, like moments where the tides change that they just do off screen.
Yes.
Like they're just like they look away, they look back, they're like, oh wow, it looks like ties in the Digiverse. And you're like, how did that happen?
How?
That's
why was this a thing?
I would have liked to see her at the very end. Oh god, God, at the very end, they're like inside Kokomon.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have to destroy the virus. Like, wasn't that your first instinct? And then they're like, okay. And then it just cuts away and they've destroyed the virus. And you're like, but this
and we're done.
That's the moment I wanted to see.
So this movie is baffling because it not only does it give us two alternative movies, both of which like what? Okay, fine. You've given us two movies, but you've also somehow given us nothing that we want to see.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you could have just extended the first movie and the first movie would have been really good with the virus thing. If you had learned about Willis and his like whole fuck up with this and just like left Kokomon stuff, like just don't do that stuff.
I would argue that the second half was better because the first half is just a bunch of people sitting at their computers.
Okay, you have actually got a really fucking
like
good
they're
point
all
with
sitting at
that.
their computers and they have a whole audience of people who I love. First of all, they're like, oh, this virus appeared, everyone saw it. It's like, yeah, everyone's tracking the code of the internet for fun
all the time,
and then watching these Digimon battles in the internet code and then emailing them support for this battle that they're waging in the code.
It honestly like the whole internet situation of the first half of this movie is baffling.
He wipes
because
out the phone lines and then they can't get to their internet because it's dial-up.
It's dial-up, right? But they have perfect video. Everyone knows everyone's email address, which is great.
I mean, that was the 90s though, wasn't it?
It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Also, Izzy just rocks up, like the internet goes down basically. Izzy just rocks up with a fucking like military grade modem and everyone's like, yeah, this makes sense. Like
okay, and the best part is that this virus causes a bunch of missiles to launch. And it counts down till impact time. So they managed to stop this virus within like a second of impact time. So like you can't stop the nukes from landing.
Yes.
But like I think they're just inert and they conveniently land in water.
Yeah, which kind of like really begs the question of how sensitive is nuclear fission? Like clearly not as sensitive as we think.
I think you'll find quite.
Yeah, it's an incredibly volatile substance, but not in these movies. It can full on splash down, causing a massive wave,
and it's like,
and be like,
never mind.
I'm not gonna. Ooh, you turned off the thing, so I can't react. I can't do this, so it's fine. It's all gonna be fine. It would have been a really fucking weird ending though if they were just like, well, it's too late anyway, and the bombs just go off and everyone dies.
Maybe the second half of the movie was all like nuclear radiation fever dream.
I like it. That would make more sense than what actually happened.
It would. It really would.
Yeah. So I mean, what did you enjoy about this?
You know, I guess the childish innocence and 90s of it all. There was a quip a minute in this movie. It was very tiring, but it was pretty fun. There were one or two really good ones. Like, what was the one like, oh, what's a semiconductor? Someone who drives a train part-time. That's really good.
I have never laughed so hard at a joke in my life. That was incredible. I actually had to pause it and like rewind it to listen to that joke again because it was perfect.
It was really fun.
It was so good. It was so good.
So there are all these like cool quips, and again, like just the childish innocence of this is how we think internet works, and the Digiverse. Like, I don't know, there's some fun campy stuff in there. The unfortunate thing is that this, like, I don't know, it's like the scriptwriters looked at like good practice for storytelling, and then we're like,
screw that noise.
Yeah, I don't think we're gonna do that. In fact, let's do the opposite.
Let's do the opposite. Yeah. No, absolutely. I kind of get you. I mean, for me, I really loved the soundtrack of it. It was just the fact that you've got these like it's so jarring to hear these songs. But it just made me really happy to like go back to the 90s and listen to Smash Mouth and Bare Naked Ladies in a movie where they genuinely had no purpose, which was great. I love the Digimon because they're just like really hyper aggressive Pokemon. Like I feel, Pokemon just in their entirety are a lot softer. Like their edges are a lot rounder. Yeah. Whereas these Digimon are just like the fever nightmares of someone who is having a really bad trip watching Pokemon. Like instead of a really cute little Charmander, I'm gonna do this motherfucking baby T-Rex that's actually just as friendly. And it's all gonna be fine.
The bunny one was very cute. Willis's other one,
yes,
with the little ears, that was very cute. My understanding with the inception of Digimon is that it was supposed to be marketing things like Tamagotchis, but like the masculine kind of answer to Tamagotchis.
Right. Interesting.
So that's all the hard edges and stuff. Oh
yeah.
That was my cat going past the light.
Okay, if you say so.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Rudy's pouring me.
Don't speak into the darkness. You're not fucking Christina from Phantom of the Opera. You don't get to do that.
Angel of you. I can't. I'm not a soprano, clearly. So.
Yeah, like I can kind of get that because to be honest with you, like I had the little Digimon toys, and you walked around with your Digimon and like battled things, and then they would digivolve and things like that. Like I had those toys.
Oh,
and,
cute!
Like, it was a big deal for us.
I didn't know that.
Like, I loved my Digimon stuff. Yeah. I was a huge nerd with the.
What Digimon did you have? Do you remember?
Oh, just like the standard, like white kid leader ones. The blue. Yeah.
Hence your love of Raichu as well.
Exactly. You gotta go for these ones. So that was my childhood. So I mean, yeah, like would you watch this again? Would you recommend this?
No, I'm not sure what it is, but I am sure that there's a better way to consume the Digiverse.
Yeah, to be honest with you, like I went back a couple years ago and I tried to watch Digimon again, and I really could not get into it. It is a genuinely confusing show, and the movie does not help that.
Quite the opposite.
Really, it does some retconning, which doesn't make sense. Like the first little bit of the movie where they talk about Kari and Tai going and meeting some Digimon just like in the middle of Japan is like the weirdest bit of retcon I've ever experienced in my life. Like, why would they do that? And so, yeah, the whole Digimon thing, I think, just needs to be retired because it's genuinely confusing. It is genuinely just baffling.
It really is. Yeah, I think they saw Pokemon, they were like, this is good, and then they tried to replicate it with none of the magic of like actually what makes Pokemon good, or none of the heart.
Yeah, exactly. They just wanted to make something that was way more vicious, way more aggressive, and way more complicated. Yeah. Well, thank you very much. Shall we evolve into Pokemon, and you can tell me about Mewtwo and his brother Mew?
I can try. For some reason, I cannot find the voice actor for Mew, so apologies in advance to
Fair.
Or I can't find the voice actor for Mewtwo. I can find the voice actor for Mew. for some
Right.
reason.
Which is weird because Mew only goes Mew,
He's
whereas
so
Mewtwo
cute.
has the best Pokemon. So fucking adorable. Yeah. Little
Okay.
scamp. Anyway.
Okay. So this story follows a evil doctor whose name I can't recall. Dr. Fuji? No?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. Played by Yasuke Akimoto. He wants to create the strongest Pokemon in the world. So he finds this ancient Pokemon Mew and then clones him and raises him, and then he becomes Mewtwo. And Mewtwo is this like very powerful psychic Pokemon who then hangs out with the doctor's dying daughter and a bunch of other Pokemon clones that are doomed because it's really hard to clone Pokemon. And he like has like a psychic connection with all of them, and they hang out until they all die off. And then he's very sad and he loses his mind. So that's the premise we're working with for this children's movie.
The darkest opening of all time.
Yeah, I kept watching it. I was like, this is intense.
We're gonna talk about it. We are gonna talk about it.
Cut to our heroes: Ash, voiced by Veronica Taylor; Misty, voiced by Rachel Lillis; and Brock, voiced by Eric Stewart. The three of them are doing their thing, trying to become Pokemon masters. When they get a mysterious invitation to an island where they are going to be fighting some other Pokemon masters and, you know, trying to be the very best there ever was.
Like, is to catch them their real test?
To train them is their cause.
So they're traveling across the land, moving far and wide. Yes, please continue.
Yes. They managed to get a ride across the island with Jesse and James from Team Rocket, who, you know, have to be there in their trusty Meowth. They get to the island. They soon find that actually they were all brought there by who but Mewtwo for nefarious means. He wants to kidnap all their Pokemon and clone them, and then have the clones fight the other Pokemon to prove that they're better than the other Pokemon, and they don't need humans. But because Pikachu's so cute and he's so bonded with Ash, Mewtwo sees that actually Pokemon can bond with humans, and he was wrong. So he's like, oh, actually, never mind. And he and all of his cloned Pokemon disappear and wipe everybody's memories of the whole thing. And that's the end? Actually,
that's the end.
Sorry, I know that's a very quick synopsis, but there's a lot of Pokemon battles that go on through this too.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Like there isn't much to go on here, but I mean, let's talk about that opening, shall we?
Yeah.
That opening. Okay, so I don't think that in the Western version of this movie, that opening was there. Because I don't remember that from a kid.
Oh,
from when
really?
I watched this as a kid. And when I watched this with my girlfriend, she didn't remember this was the opening from when we were kids. And so I think because we both watched this and we were like, I've never seen this in my life. We thought we downloaded the wrong movie. So I think they obviously, when it was brought over to America, the studios were like, this is too dark an opening for our children.
Yeah.
And to be honest, Simone, I've got to agree with them.
Yeah, it was like, I was like, this is a lot to unpack. He's brought into this world. He doesn't understand what he's going through. He's a scientific experiment. He psychically bonds with all of the other experiments. He learns about the world from a sweet, innocent little girl. And then they all die in front of him.
It's fucking horrendous. It's genuinely the most upsetting sort of like 20 minutes of my life, where this girl just literally like is teaching him, and she's so nice to him, and he's like really innocent. He doesn't know what anything is. He doesn't know what the moon is. He doesn't know what the sky is. And then this poor little girl who is just, you know, the genetic code of the scientist's daughter who died in a horrific car accident or whatever.
I forgot that. She was also a clone of the guy's daughter, not even his actual daughter.
Yes. And then she just like, the Pokemon start dying one by one. And then the daughter goes, and Mewtwo is just left by himself. And then the scientist goes mad, and then Mewtwo's mind is erased, which is why he doesn't remember any of that shit.
And let's not forget the massacre that he commits by killing all the scientists and then taking over the research facility. They just kind of gloss over that he killed a lot of people. Like
absolutely.
A lot of people.
A lot of people died because of this Pokemon. But yeah, like apparently, you know, this was cool in Japan, not cool in America. Don't blame them. But it does, I think the issue with this bit is that because it was taken out in that bit, we learn that Pokemon tears can give back life. Yes. And so when Pikachu cries over Ash's dying body at the end, it sort of brings him back. And like as a kid, I never understood why Pokemon tears have that ability. But I'm so glad I watched the opening, the Japanese opening, where a little girl dies in order to find out why Pokemon tears can give life.
Yes. Anyway, if we discard the opening, I actually found this movie really fun and charming.
Yes, it is a very fun and charming movie, right? From beginning to end. What was your favorite bits? Like, talk me through your viewing experience.
You know, it starts off with standard Brock, Misty, Ash banter. Everyone's being so cute and fun. And then it goes to like, we need to go to this Poke Battle. And then Team Rocket's, I just love Team Rocket more and more. They're so good. One of the best parts of the whole show. Like, look at them just doing their best every single time. The commitment to the disguises, how dumb the gang is for always falling for it. I loved when they're like in the Poke clone factory thing. It's kind of a fun meta joke about name that Pokemon, which they used to do at the end of episodes of Pokemon, and they're like, who's that Pokemon? It's Gyarados. That was really fun.
Yeah, it was lovely. It was lovely little moments like that really spoke to the TV show as well, and it was great. Yeah, like the overall message as well of this movie, like, I mean, you know, I think for its time and like what it's trying to teach kids is really lovely. You know, there's that speech at the end where like Mew and Mewtwo are like having a little chin wag, and Mewtwo's like, oh, I see it now. It's not about sort of the circumstances of your birth that determine who you are. It's about sort of what you do with those circumstances. And it's like, yeah, okay, to a point. There's a lot of nuance to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I like your thinking.
Found the messaging a little bit fuzzy at some points, specifically the scene where the clones are fighting like the originals, right? And it's like shown as this very sad thing, like no one really wins, they're both just hurting each other and wearing each other out, and this very strange ballady song plays over it about like my brother. And it's just all like really weird. And like there's Nurse Joy, she's like, not like this, not like this. And it's like, you guys all fight these animals for a living.
You have a really good point.
The only difference here is that a Pokemon is making them fight instead of a human. That's it. That's it. Yeah. If two Poke trainers had two fucking Gyaradoses or what the fuck ever fighting each other, you wouldn't see a problem with it.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. It seems like it's just sort of like the when you take the system out of the system, you realize the system is the problem.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're absolutely right. It's showing the inherent sort of illogical basis of the whole thing. You make a very, very good point.
Like, it was a lovely emotional movie. I really like Pikachu. I thought he was very cute. I like his little bond with Ash and his when he's like trying to shock Ash back to life and he gets so tired. He's so cute. But then the whole scene where they're all fighting each other and everyone's like, this is terrible. Look at these Pokemon fighting. And it's like, that's your livelihood.
Yeah. Like, Ash has been doing this for 100 years since he was 10. So, like, 5 minutes ago when he was 10.
Think Mewtwo seized the means of production.
So is this like, is this like a weird satire of communism?
I think it is.
But like in like a really bad direction, because obviously at the end, Mewtwo's like, no, capitalism is good. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. It's not about where you come from. It's what you do with what you've got. Pull yourself up. So it's like a really weird satire of how communism fails by mindless sort of capitulation, because essentially everyone kind of convinces Mewtwo because of like a really sad story to change to a capitalist. What a weird satire this is.
I don't know if it's satire.
So then what is it? Because is it just propaganda?
An allegory? I don't know.
For what? Who is it teaching? What is it teaching? Like, what is the? Is it teaching the pros of capitalism?
I think we're thinking about this harder than the people who wrote the movie.
Oh, I disagree. When they open with such a hard opening of a little girl dying, they thought about this.
True.
This is a thoughtful movie. So I mean, Golden Nugget.
Oh, it's all so cute. It's all cute. It's so fun. It was like, I only really watched the first generation of Pokemon. Really, I watched like that one. I used to watch it as a little kid, and I ate breakfast before school, and it was just cool to like revisit it and be like, oh yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing. So truly for me, the Golden Nugget was just that sweet hit of nostalgia. It's so much fun. This is a silly movie. It's ridiculous. You should watch it.
Absolutely, I couldn't agree more with you. For me, I think my Golden Nugget more than anything else in this movie, because I mean it's all fantastic. I think this movie holds up. It's well over 20 years old, and it holds up so well 20 years later. But I think my absolute favorite thing is just this one line where it's now time for Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard to get ready to fight clone Venusaur, Blastoise, and Charizard. And like the trainers for the Blastoise and the Ivysaur are like got like cool names like Ivy Whip and Shell Shocker.
Yeah.
And Ash is just there and he's like, I don't have a nice name for him. He's just Charizard, who's been a pain in my ass for the last 10 years. He never listens to me anyway.
Just do whatever the fuck you're gonna do, Charizard.
And it's just great because Ash is such an unassuming trainer, and we're supposed to follow this protagonist around, and like he's just shit. Like we've learned this because he keeps losing, and he's just shit at his job. And yet we still watch him.
You know what? 10 out of 10 would watch him some more.
Oh yeah, 100%. And again, this movie, watch it. It's great. I would recommend this to high heavens. I'm probably gonna make my kids watch it and just ask them to write a 10 page essay on the means of production and seizing it, and how sort of the irony of capitalistic ideals.
Someone is definitely going to email us and be like, Simone, you fundamentally misunderstand the concept of seizing the means of production. And to answer you now, yes.
Oh, look, what can we do? We watch bad movies for a living. We're not Communist Manifesto lovers. Yeah. Come on now. Well, there you have it. Thank you so much, Simone, for indulging me on this weird nostalgia trip.
That was
I'm
so
glad
much
that
fun.
we could visit our weird pocket and or digi monsters.
I'm just gonna put digi in front of everything. I want to sound cool now.
It just makes everything digi better, doesn't it?
Thanks for listening to our digicast, guys.
Oh, why wasn't it called Digicasts? That's so much cooler than podcasts.
It is really cool, actually.
This is a Digicast now. We're no longer podcasters. We're Digicasters.
Should our next podcast just be us trying to unpack Digimon and understand?
What, just episode by episode? Just like...
And it's just us slowly losing our minds.
Our Digiminds. Yes, that is the podcast. Amazing.
Fantastic.
Well, there you go. So tell me, Simone, what is your digigratitude for this week?
My digitoad for this week is
that's so much better.
Electricity. Don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone. It's real nice to have, especially at night.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's not quite summer there yet, so I can imagine it's not staying light.
It stays like pretty late, but I mean the slot that I'm in now is the 8 to 10:30 one, so there's no hope.
Oof. Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's really rough. Oh man. Yeah, it does send you back a couple centuries, doesn't it? It's really weird.
You know what? I would prefer losing electricity to losing like plumbing and stuff, because I have experienced both.
Oh yeah.
And plumbing is something I simply can't do without.
No, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Like, having indoor toilets when you don't have water is an actual nightmare. It really is an actual nightmare. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. Yeah.
So because we live on a very old property, I will be very quick about this. We live on a very old property. So sometimes the drains down the road from us just block up. And then we can't really, like, the water just doesn't drain off our property. So we can't like flush or use the sinks.
Or
anything like that. And like usually the city's actually pretty good about coming to fix it, because it's a municipal sewer line that they have to come unclog, so we can't just get a plumber in. But a couple months ago that happened, and it took them like 24 hours to come out to us. And when they arrived, I have truly never been more happy to see a big truck full of men in my life.
Oh, that's
I
so
ran up.
good.
I was like, "Oh my god, it's you!" And they were like, "Don't your feet hurt?" Because I was barefoot on the gravel, and I was like, "I don't care." I love
you. Oh man, yeah. I think that is a good message. It is always the things that you sort of take for granted, and then the second they're gone, you're just like, wow, I really rely on that so very
and
much.
Also,
it's the same as when you're sick and you're like,
workers, because you guys are doing just the Lord's work. You are holding society on your shoulders.
Yeah. Exactly. The unsung heroes.
Truly.
Without a doubt. Yeah. So there you go, guys. Appreciate a little electricity, running water, sweet Jesus, heating, guys. I don't think people realize how cold things are. Like, just things are cold, and your houses are made pretty fucking. Yeah. I think
gratitude.
No, the sadness. My gratitude for this week would probably be what is my gratitude for this week? I'm gonna say, we've done that one way too many times. I was just gonna say vegan food. I would probably say good roadways and travel. I think we forget, very much like electricity, I think we forget how sort of amazing our sort of road systems are. The fact that we have transport in multiple forms, planes, trains, automobiles, ships, whatever. That's pretty awesome, you guys. I mean, I think I feel it specifically more now because I'm in a long distance relationship, and I think without trains and or motor vehicles, it just wouldn't happen. Like, we wouldn't be in a good relationship because we wouldn't be able to see each other as much as we do now. So I'm just really glad that, you know, we have well-paved roads. You know, I don't have to travel hundreds of miles on a cobbledy road driven by a horse. You know, I can just get into my car and put on a podcast or 7 and just drive, and I'm absolutely fine, and there's going to be no problems. Yeah,
that's a good point. No longer are you setting out on a 5-day journey to go see your girl.
Yeah, and that 5-day journey would just be like to a place that's down the road, let alone like, you know, 300 miles away.
And if the river's too high, I mean, you got to turn right around.
Oh my gosh, could you imagine? And you know, you'd get there before the letter saying that you're coming, and it's an unexpected arrival, and you know, the estate is not ready for your arrival, and it's the talk of the town.
I love that in this scenario, Georgette lives in like a well-to-do mansion / palace.
Oh yeah, definitely. It would be a reverse Pride and Prejudice. She's the super rich.
So you would ride through, would you ride through to see her with your like whole retinue? You know, you've got all your manservants with you, and okay. I like this for you.
Yeah. Well, so basically like the way I'm seeing it is sort of like the opening of Pride and Prejudice. So like my youngest sibling is sick at her place, and I decide to walk through
like
muddy fields, and my dress is an absolute mess when I arrive at the Harris mansion, and it's just like it's the talk of Plymouth for months.
Oh my god, how beautiful!
It's so embarrassing. Oh my gosh. Well, talking about beauty, Simone, it is the end of the month next week, which means it's our November wrap up. So what are we gonna do?
We are going to be current. We're going to be hip. We're going to go with the biggest movie releases this month. So naturally, we will be discussing The Eternals and Red Notice.
Yes, I have been seeing nonstop, because I follow The Rock on Instagram, that the Red Notice is like the #1 watched movie for Netflix opening week. And I'm like, really?
That doesn't make it good, though.
Sure?
Like, you know, my whole thing with Netflix, right, is like, I don't, if I watch something on Netflix, it's not necessarily because I think it's good. It's just because I'm like, this is a thing
it's because
that I can watch. Yeah. So I'm interested.
Exactly. Yeah, it should be. I mean, we've both got Ryan Reynolds fatigue, so we'll see how we feel about it. But like, we will of course cast fatigue. I can understand that. Like, that makes sense. He very much, like Ryan Reynolds, just plays the same character, I guess. Is that gristly old man. Yeah. But like, we'll put that aside. We'll be sort of, you know, neutral in our judgments.
Yeah. No, I think
as much as we can be.
Yeah. We'll do what we can.
Yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you so much for listening. We really do appreciate you. What was your favorite Pokemon? And if you can remember a Digimon's name, please let us know which one it was and if it was your favorite. Over 1 million years. I really need to specify the second part of that deal, please. So please do write us in. We would love to hear from you. And where can they do that, Simone?
They can talk to us on Facebook and Instagram at Fresh Tomatoes Podcast, on Twitter at Fresh Tomatoes NP, and they can email us at freshtomatoespodcast@gmail.com.
There you have it. And as we digi-say at the end of every digisode, we digi-love for you, and there's nothing you can digi-do about that.
We digi-love you, and there's nothing you can digi-do about it.
It sounds like didgeridoo. I love that. Oh, goodbye, everyone.
Bye.